Hey there, all you SAT takers. It's the ACT SAT Math Prep Master here to help you dominate your SAT math. In this video, I will explain each question on the SAT math section of the actual real SAT given in October of 2018. The test is split into 4 videos. This is the first half of the non-calculator portion. Number 1. What value of z satisfies the equation above? 2z plus 1 equals z. Well, let's start off by getting z alone. The easiest way is to subtract 2z from both sides of this basic algebraic equation. Just write it over here. I know most of you want to avoid the negative here, but let's just do this in one step, or in 2 steps, I should say. Subtract 2z from both sides of the equation. I'll put a line in there so you can see the z's with the 2's. 1 equals negative z. Multiply both sides by negative 1, or divide by negative 1, same thing, and z will equal negative 1. That will be answer choice B. And in all my videos, I give a level of difficulty from 1 to 10 based on the ability of students to get the question correct without guessing, and this one I'll give a level 1.5. Don't even know why I gave it the extra 0.5, only maybe because it's a negative. Simple question. Let's go on to number 2. Good start. A television with a price of $300 is to be purchased with an initial payment of $60 and weekly payments of $30. Which of the following equations can be used to find the number of weekly payments, W, required to complete the purchase, assuming there are no taxes or fees? Well, this is basically a linear equation where we have a fixed price that we pay of $60, and then we have a weekly payment of $30. So our one-time payment of $60 is usually like in the form of y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. Our fixed cost of $60 would be our intercept. Our y-intercept would be 60, and our slope would be 30, because it's $30 every week. So depending on how many weeks, that will constitute how much our total payment is. So looking at the answer choices, it's very easy to see that all of these are $300, which is the price of the television is $300. So those are all the same. So the thing on the right side is the payments have to equal what the purchase price is. And the payments are exactly this. 30 would be the slope, because that's the weekly cost, and 60 would be the initial payment. If it were on a graph, it would look like, I'll try to graph it here, it would look like this, where the initial payment, let's say this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, that would be 60. That's our initial payment at week 0, and each week we would go up. That would be week 1, week 2, week 3 would be on the x-axis, and each week that we go up, we would go up by 30, because that's our slope. So our line would look something like this. That's the equation. That's the line that it would represent, this equation, which is easily answer choice C. I didn't need to go through all that, but just wanted to show you the details. Answer choice C, level of difficulty from 1 to 10. I'll give that a level 3.5. Let's go on to number 3. For number 3, we have a chart. We have shipping charges. We have the merchandise weight on the left and the shipping charge on the right. The table above shows shipping charges for an online retailer that sells sporting goods. There is a linear relationship between the shipping charge and the weight of the merchandise. Which function can be used to determine the total shipping charge f of x in dollars for an order with a merchandise weight of x pounds? So in this question, it represents a linear function, as it says. Let's look at the answer choices here. So if we were to again draw a graph of the linear function here, let's draw that so this question makes sense. We don't have to do that, but I'm just giving you extra information so you understand the concept of each question here. Okay, so that's our coordinate plane. Let's see if we can fit everything in here. Okay, so when it's 5 pounds, which would be on the x-axis, because the weight determines or causes the shipping charge, right? So let's go by fives here. If this were 5 pounds, right? 10, 15, 20. We'll draw a little graph here that represents the situation. Let's go by 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Okay, so 5 would be approximately $16. I'm just going to estimate what this graph looks like just to show you what's going on here. The graph would look somewhat like this. We're increasing, as you notice, about $5 each time that we go up 5 pounds. So we could actually, we'll find our slope and our y-intercept. Right, that's what the equation looks like. It should be in the form again. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. The SAT loves the equation of a line here in slope-intercept form. So let's find the slope of the equation, which is the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We could pick any 2 points because they say it's linear. Let's pick this just for the heck of it, and let's pick that. So those are our 2 data points that we want to pick, so to speak, and we'll do our slope formula, which is, this is the y's, and this is the x's are the weight in pounds, and the y is the shipping charge. So to do this properly, we do the y2. That would be this right here would be y2. That would be y sub 1, subscript 1. This is the second x, and this is the first x sub 1. So our formula is y2 minus y1, 31.79 minus 16.94 over 20 minus 5. Now, you could have done this very quickly, noticing that when you do the slope at any point, it's going to be approximately 1, and the slopes that are approximately 1 are a and b, and the y-intercept can't be 0 because you would subtract the slope of about 1 for each pound, and 0 pounds would approximately be $11 or $12 shipping charge. So the answer would be B. That's the easiest way. You could do this instantly. When I did this test for practice, I looked at this and said, oh, instantly knew it was B. But I'm going to go through the concept so everybody knows how to do these. And using the calculator, we get 14.85 over 15. And that simplifies to 0.99. And that would be our slope, which we kind of already knew that, which is going to be right here. And how do we find our y-intercept? Well, let's do our y-intercept. Filling it in for y equals mx plus b. We could pick any point. Let's pick our initial point here of 5 and 1694. Let's pick this 5 and 16.94 point. We'll plug it in, and we'll find b, which we know is going to be 11.99. But we'll do it anyway. We plug in 5 into x, and we plug in 16.94 into y, and we plug in our slope, which is m, right there, and we'll find our b, which is our missing number. So y is 16.94 equals 0.99 times 5 plus b. Then we are going to calculate that. Let's erase this. 1694 equals, after the calculation, 4.95 plus b. Let's subtract the 4.95 from each side, and we will wind up with our b. Subtract 4.95, and that gives us 11.99, which is our b. And for y equals mx plus b, that's our b, and that is our m. Answer choice B. The level of difficulty here was about a level 4. Many of you could have done this very quickly just by looking at the data, knowing it was linear. You know that the slope is approximately 1, so it can't be C or D. and then just subtract from 5 and kind of figure out that the y-intercept can't be 0 because the price of 0 pounds would be more than $0. It would actually be $11.99. So answer choice B. Number 4. The line in the xy plane above represents the relationship between the height h of x in feet and the base diameter x in feet for cylindrical Doric columns in ancient Greek architecture. How much greater is the height of a Doric column that has a base diameter of 5 feet than the height of a Doric column that has a base diameter of 2 feet? Wow, another linear equation. Well, this one's simple. Let's just look at the graph here, but be careful. Read the instructions carefully. They want to know the difference. How much greater is the height of a Doric column at 5 feet, diameter of 5 feet, than diameter of 2 feet? What does this graph represent? The x is the base diameter, so for 5 feet, it's going to be here, this point. And at 2 feet, it's going to be this point. So looking at the y-axis, 35 at 5, 35, and let's subtract at 2, it's 14. That's the, I guess, the height of the Doric column. And the difference is 21 feet. Answer choice C. It's mostly reading the chart, reading this linear or graph of a line, and level of difficulty from 1 to 10, 1 being the easiest, 10 being the most difficult. I will give that a level 3 of difficulty. Number 5. If x is greater than 0, which of the following is equivalent to the given expression? The square root of 9x squared. Well, the square root of 9 is 3, and the square root of x squared is x. Answer choice A. It's pretty simple, actually. There's not many ways you can look at this. 3x is the answer. Remember, when we multiply variables, like x squared times x cubed, we get x to the 5th. We add the exponent. So in this case, x to the 1st, or x times x to the 1st, would equal x squared. So the square root of x squared equals x. Level of difficulty from 1 to 10. Let's go with a level 2.5. Let's move on to number 6. Number 6. In this question, you should have something trigger when you see this x squared. First of all, anytime you see an equal sign between two fractions, let's make this a fraction. That's a whole number, so let's put that over 1, and now it's a fraction. We can cross multiply, so let's do that. So if we cross multiply here, it's this times, basically times 1. So it's just x squared minus 1 times 1 is just x squared minus 1. And when we cross multiply here, we have negative 2 times x minus 1. So we'll do that here, and we'll distribute afterwards. Now let's simplify this equation. We get x squared minus 1 equals negative 2x plus 2. And now you should immediately notice when you see an equation like this, this is what I was talking about before the trigger, you see an x squared, you see a 2x, and you see a constant. You see a number, a constant, with no variable. You're going to factor this. It's going to be a trinomial. So let's take everything and put it on the left, because x squared is on the left here and it's positive. Let's bring everything over. Let's add 2x to both sides of the equation. We would get, I'll bring it over here, we'll get x squared plus 2x minus 1 equals 2. Now we just have to subtract 2 from both sides. And we come up with our trinomial that we're going to factor. Okay, so we need two numbers. We're going to factor the trinomial. We need two numbers that multiply to negative 3 and add to positive 2. Two numbers that multiply to 3, negative 3, and add to positive 2. That'd be positive 3 and negative 1. Right? Just checking, that would be 3x minus x. That's 2x. Good. And that equals 0. Now we're going to get a solution for each side here. x plus 3 equals 0, and x minus 1 equals 0. X equals negative 3. We would subtract 3 from each side here, right? And add 1 to each side of this equation. We get x equals 1. But make sure anytime you do this, you want to check for what's called extraneous solutions. Those are solutions that don't quite work. So let's check negative 3. Let's plug it in here. We have negative 3 squared, which is 9. Negative 3 times negative 3 minus 1 over negative 3 minus 1. Negative 3 minus 1. Does that equal negative 2? 9 minus 1 is 8. Negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4, and that does equal negative 2, so that is the winner. X is negative 3 is the answer. Answer choice A. This one a little difficult than the rest, a little more difficult than the previous. Let's give this a level of difficulty, level 5. And also notice if you plug in 1 into the equation, it does not work. It's an extraneous solution, showing that if you plugged in 1, 1 squared is 1, because 1 times 1 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. And then you get 0 over 0, which does not equal negative 2. Let's move on to number 7. The graph of y equals f of x is shown in the xy plane. What is the value of f of 0? Well, that's just, what that means is f of 0. What is the y value when x equals 0? That's very simple. Looking at the graph, that is the x value. We want the y value associated with that at 0. It's our x value. Our y value is 4. Level of difficulty from 1 to 10. Level 4.5. Number 8. In the figure above, point B lies on segment AD. What is the value of 3x? Well, a little algebra geometry question. Looking at the figure here, since angle ABC here is a 90-degree angle, right there, we know that CBD, this angle, also has to be 90 degrees because that makes a linear pair and adds to 180 degrees. So this adds to 90 degrees. Simply do the algebra. X plus 2x plus 2x. X plus 2x plus 2x equals 90. Solve for x, combining like terms. 5x equals 90. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. X equals 18. The question asks for the value of 3x, so 3 times 18 would be 54. Answer choice C. Level of difficulty from 1 to 10, 10 being the most difficult. This is a level 4. Let's move along to number 9. Which of the following is an equation of line L in the xy plane above? Well, this is pretty simple. When x equals 0, right? Anytime x equals 0, we'll be on our y-intercept. So when x equals 0, let's look at our equations. Y has to be negative 4, right? So when x equals 0, if we just covered this, right? When x is 0, y is negative 4, right? And when y is 0, x is negative 4. So it's answer choice C. So when you graph with x and y intercepts, when x is 0, what is y? Well, in this case, y is negative 4. When y is 0, x is negative 4. Those are our 2 points on the graph, and that would only satisfy equation C. X plus y equals negative 4. There's a lot of different ways you could have done that. That's the most simple way, looking at the x and y intercepts. You could have also done y equals mx plus b. I'll show you that way as well. If you have x plus y equals negative 4 and you want to put that into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, you would subtract x from both sides of the equation. You get y equals negative x minus 4. What that means is we have a y-intercept of negative 4, which is right here. our y-intercept. And our slope is -1, which means that we go down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the right 1. So that shows that answer choice C. Another easy question. So far, to me, this is a pretty easy test. I'm going to give this one a level of difficulty. I will say level 3. Let's go to number 10. The graph of y equals 2x squared plus 10x plus 12 is shown. If the graph crosses the y-axis at the point 0k, what is the value of k? Well, this is a quadratic equation, and to find k, which is our y-intercept, which is right here, x would have to be 0, because any point on the y-axis, x is 0. So when you have the equation of a quadratic, it's in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, and c is always the y-intercept, which is 12. Since 12 is the y-intercept, 0, 12 is your point, k would be 12. Pretty simple question. Let's go with a level of difficulty from 1 to 10, 1 being the easiest, 10 being the most difficult based on students' ability to get the question correct without guessing. I would say this is a level 5. Pretty average question, just knowing the concept. Well, that's the first 10 questions. Next video, we'll cover the back 10 on the non-calculator portion of the October 2018 SAT. Thank you so much for watching my video, students. For my entire library of videos, go to www.educatedway.